Good morning, everybody. My name is Jody. My husband David John and I have a small farm in the panhandle of North Idaho. These are our stories and adventures. And today we're going to start planting seedlings. We're getting our cold weather crops in seed trays. Even though it's 30 degrees outside and we have about a foot of snow still and the hoop house is frozen solid, I want to get this stuff started so as soon as the hoop house is thawed, I can get the brassicas, which are going to be your cauliflowers, your broccolis, and cabbages, so I can get them planted in the ground. So gonna go through the steps of getting this stuff started. So the first step will be filling our trays with a potting medium that's designed for seedlings. So let's get this started. So like I have said in the past, I have gone through and bleach sterilized these trays. And you just want to go through and lightly get all your cells filled up with your potting medium. And if you wind up with sticks and stuff, I pull them out. Lightly tamp it down, and then just scraping off the excess. Gonna fill a couple of these and then we'll get to the fun part. There we go. So the first thing I am going to be starting is going to be my stevia. And these guys, basically, they're not going to be planted into the soil. They're going to be placed right on top and then lightly pressed down, because they don't need to be buried because they are uber tiny. So it's one of those, as you're going through planting seeds, and over the next couple months as we're doing this, show you the difference from what we're planting today to when we get to the pumpkins, just because of the size of the seed. Most of the stuff we'll be planting today will either be surface planted like the stevia and the columbine seeds. The other stuff at most will be just 1/8 of an inch under the soil, so it'll be just lightly tamped down. So we're gonna get these guys planted, and I'm gonna switch now over to the GoPro so you can get that perspective of planting. Okay, so we're gonna start with our stevia seeds. And I've got this cool little seed distributor. It's got a bunch of different choices for seeds. So we'll get the stevia seeds in here and work on getting them in there. Okay. And I know I didn't completely fill this tray, but I'm not going to open another package for these last 5 cells. I'll save the other 2 packages for later. So just kind of lightly just making contact with the dirt, or the soil I should say. I'm going to put these guys on the germination table. And I am using labels. I am cutting these in half for on the germination part of it, just so that when I put the lids on them, they're not pushing the lids up and everything falling off. But the next thing I'm going to plant is my home-saved columbine seeds. And they're pretty much going to be about the same as the stevia, where I'm just going to sprinkle them on top. Because I've got a bunch of columbine out in the in-ground garden that were self-planted. So I know they will germinate just laying on top of the soil. These are ones that probably could be like 1/8 of an inch under the soil. So I'm just going to put them on. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. And then just slightly tamp them down. And I really like this little, get it close enough the camera will focus, this little gadget here for doing the seeds, because you can easily tamp out however many you need, especially when you're doing small stuff. This makes it a lot easier. And the next one we're going to plant is going to be the milkweed. Let's see what size these seeds are. And these ones, they say to plant 1/4 of an inch. Ooh. Okay, so these ones, after you've put in the soil, they say to cover and put in a refrigerator for 3 to 4 weeks. Did not realize that. It's a good thing I decided to start this early, because it needs cold stratification to germinate. So I will get these planted in a tray, and when we go down to the house I'll put them in the refrigerator, and in 3 to 4 weeks we'll be putting them on the germination table. And these are a lot bigger seed. So poker. And I like using a bamboo skewer for when I am doing the little bigger seeds in the trays, because then I can make my little holes to put the seeds in. And the one thing nice about this, using a bamboo skewer, is if you miss the hole, you can push them down into the hole. For now, I'm just going to set them on the seed table, because I'll take you over there and show you why. Because as you see, I do have the water in the trays, because it's really hard to overhead water little seedling trays like this, especially stuff with little seeds. So I've found that bottom watering them is the best. I'll put them on there, wait a couple hours. If there's any water left, I will dump that out. And that's the cool thing about the germination table, because it needs water, so I can dump a little bit of extra out. But it will slowly absorb the water up and make the soil nice and moist for them. So gonna get these guys on there and write what I've got planted so far down in my little book. I picked up one of these weekly planners from the dollar store the other day, so I can write down everything when I've got it started, when it comes up, when it starts to germinate, and then when I go to transplant it, just so I have a little better record, because I started that last year on a big wall calendar. That's why I know last year at this time I had tomatoes and peppers going, which obviously I'm not going to start them this early, because last year they got kind of leggy and weren't that great. So just trying to take a little better notes, so I will know in the future what worked, what didn't work. So get these guys over there to start getting hydrated. Okay, so I got the first round of seeds planted. Going to show you what I mean by the soil will naturally wick up the water. So as you see, like on this stevia tray, all the cells that are dark are completely soaked up the water. Still have some that are needing to absorb some more, but you can see here on these ones that they're starting to darken up, and so it's shown they're getting water up to them. And this one with the milkweed, you can see it's all nice and dark, ready to go somewhere cold. And now that the sun has come up and I can see outside, I need to go up to the greenhouse and get the rest of these clear greenhouse lids to put on these, because it just helps keep the moisture in there and works as a mini greenhouse. Just helps keep everything how it should be. Just have to do a little tweaking on the table and get all the lids put on. Hi guys, so it's been about 56 hours since I planted stuff on the germination table. Thought we would take a quick look and see what it looks like after 56 hours. So as you see, the domes do have moisture, humidity trapped in them, just like they're supposed to be doing. So we'll peek in this first one, and we do have some stevia coming up, which I'm really stoked about seeing. And have a flat Dutch and a broccoli coming up. Actually, we have a couple broccolis coming up there. Don't see anything in that tray, but look at this. Got a row of pak choi coming up, and this row right here, I'm hoping it dried out early and not later, so that I didn't kill the seeds. I have added water to it, so hopefully it will recover. But let's look at the back two trays. Nothing on those herbs yet. And nothing on the onions. So I'll get these guys covered up, double check the water levels, and we'll be back in for you guys second, but in another 24 hours, see where we're at. Okay guys, we're about 78 hours into the germination table. Let's take a look and see where we're at right now. So this tray of this over here is Golden Acre cabbage, and then I got the flat Dutch cabbage. Nothing on that cabbage yet. Oh, I do have one right there. This over here is broccolis, and a lot of that is coming up really good. Still nothing on those cabbage or the chives, and nothing on the onion one. This one here is my cauliflower right there. That is the Roper and Durgeris and Amazing. And then the pak choi that we looked at Yetis in. Climbing on stuff. But the pak choi that we looked at yesterday, and that this section here was dry. As you can see, it has moistened up, and I do have plants coming up. But nothing on the snowball. And I do have, snake you guys in there so you can get close. I do have some thyme germinated. Nothing on the rosemary. And I moved the stevia over here just to give the soil a chance to dry out a little tiny bit, because since it is germinating relatively decently, I don't want it to damp off, and that's when it's got too much moisture and it just, for lack of a better term, it just damps off right at the soil level. So that's where we're at on day 3. So we'll see what we look like tomorrow. Well, friends, we're on day 5 of the first round of germination. And now it's time to get some of these guys off the table and underneath the bright lights. So I'm going to show you that and show you how big these brassicas have gotten. Except I didn't bring any trays, so I'll be right back after run up and grab trays. Okay, now that I got my trays, just because I don't like taking these ones off and putting them over here, just because of the moisture, you just get excess sand everywhere. Except I need a flat spot to put them on. So the Amazing Roper and Durgeris cauliflowers. There you can hopefully see them. Definitely need to get under a light. And the main reason for putting a light and it being right on top of them is it helps keep them from getting too leggy. And all of the bok choy has germinated. Nothing from the snowball. And I'll have to look and see how old that seed is, but it's just getting moved over because I need to get the bok choy under a light. And as you see there, pull this out just a little. They are quite literally just touching the light. Let me get the rest of these moved and I'll show you them, and then I'll give you the angle from looking this way at them. But my cabbages looking really good. Finally did get some of the VD whatever. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen. But my broccolis look really good. And this light here, I'll grab the crammer here in a minute and show you, because it is going to have to be raised a little. And even though my stevia is still really small, I don't know if you can see it in this funky lighting. Oh. I'm going to throw it on the floor, but I'm going to put what I didn't just smash under a light. Let's give you guys the angle now. So as you see, the plants are just under the light, where these ones, they are touching the light, but that light there might be high enough for those other ones. So let's get them swapped. Oh yeah, that is much better. So as you see now, the plants aren't touching the light itself. But over here on what's left on the table right now, I do have a couple thyme plants. Don't see anything on the rosemary, but I have some garlic chives starting to pop. And then nothing on the Glory of E, which is a good thing since the chives are starting to come up. But I have some echinacea, another little one down there. But I do have some dill starting to come up back there, and some of my onion seeds, like that one back there, that's a red onion, are starting to come up. Nothing on the bunching onions. Oh wait, I take that back. Got one right there, and I think that's a weed. So gonna get these last couple trays covered back up, and this is where I'm going to end today's video. Thank you for coming along on the first 5 days of my first round of seed germination. Going to be a lot more coming, and a lot more different varieties. I think the next round is going to be like the pansies and violas. Trying not to rush on starting my tomatoes. Really need to hammer down with David John when we think we want to get those started, just because they just got so big, and it's really hard to sell big product to people, even though we try to educate them that you want to bury them deep. It's okay if they're a little on the big side. They just get overwhelmed by this massive plant as to where to put it. So I'm going to try to keep them a little more compact this year. So we'll be back with you guys on the next video. I hope you have a good day and a good week, and bye for now.